What's good, everyone? It's CJ. We're back at it again today. Today we're going to make a rage type beat in Logic. Before that, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell. This way you're notified anytime I drop some new content. The YouTube algorithm is really killing me and I need your help. So hit that like or dislike, comment below. Let's get the algorithm going. Let's get it moving. All right, with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. Let's head to Logic. Okay, so I just opened up Logic and I've already curated some of the sounds that we're going to be using for this tutorial today. Number one, I created a Rage Synth preset inside of Alchemy. If you're interested in knowing how to create these presets, drop a comment below and I'll definitely make another tutorial in detail going over how to create these presets. So this is the first synth that I came up with. And then I basically copied that same synth and added a glide to it. And lastly, I handpicked some drums and created a Rage drum kit for you guys. So if you are interested in downloading this project file, hit the link in the description. You get all the presets and the drums contained within this project to follow along. Okay, I'm going to start off this beat by coming up with a chord progression. Now, the program that I use for my chord progressions is a program called Cthulhu. And I'm writing this in F major. I feel like a lot of the Rage beats I've come across are all in the major scale. So we're going to follow that concept. I've set the project to 160 BPM. I feel like a lot of the Rage beats I've heard are anywhere in the range of 150 to 170. So let's keep it in the middle at 160. And let's go ahead and turn on our metronome, our countdown, and we'll come up with a chord progression for this beat. Let's go into that MIDI. Quantize it. I'm going to fix this over here. Next thing I want to do is using my MIDI effects freeze is basically capture the MIDI that I created using Cthulhu and then exporting it. Let's hit record. And let's drag that MIDI right in there. Let's get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. Let's drag it over. We'll turn Cthulhu off now. Now we extracted the chords from Cthulhu and we can start manipulating the chords directly in the Logic piano roll. So to create more voicing, I'm just adding some additional notes to those chords to make them a little fatter sounding. Once you're happy with that chord progression, we have to start thinking about, all the layers that we're going to be adding. So I'm going to start using an EQ right off the bat to cut the lows as well as some of the highs because I want to use another synth on top of it that's going to be playing a glide. Let's find a nice balance that works. We can always come back into the EQ and change it, but I want to give it a good start. If you make the high cut a little wider, it's not as aggressive, but you could still cut some of that high end out. Take this chord progression, bring it down an octave. This way we can add a glide on top of it at a higher octave, make those two synths really blend well together. Let me pause right here. For only $3 a month, you get to sign up for my Patreon and download all of my project files anytime I drop a tutorial. And if you're not using Logic, it doesn't matter because I provide the one-shots, the MIDI, as well as the tracked out stems for you to make your own beats and any DAW. All right, let's get back to this beat. Since this synth has a glide on it, I want to overlap some of these notes. As it's playing from A3 to D4, there's a glide that's actually happening right at the tail end of that first note. So have a listen. And if you feel like the glide needs to be a bit longer, don't be afraid to make these notes longer. Let's go ahead and copy over that same section. So what I want to do is take this an octave up now, and as well as the glide. For an added effect for these glides, what you could do is also stack notes on top of each other. I definitely feel like, you know, as the beat progresses, we need to probably add some sort of an arp, maybe a bell, something like that. Now we could arpeggiate these bells very simply by reusing that chord progression that we already have. So I'm going to copy that down. Now I'm going to join this MIDI right here. Command A to select all. Let's right click and then use the force legato option right here. And if it comes up saying some overlapping notes are there, so just hit shorten. Let's add a arpeggiator to that. And I'm feeling like this arpeggiator should be a bit slow. So like maybe 1/4. Let's add a little bit of variation to that and an octave range as well. Definitely cut the lows out of that bell. Maybe accentuate the highs a bit. Once you've got your chords, your glides, and some arpeggiated bells, it's time to start adding some drums. So what I'm going to do here is expand my drum kit. I'm using Drum Machine Designer for this. And the first thing I'm going to add is a clap. So let's find a clap that matches well. I touch on this every single time I would do a tutorial, but sound selection is key when making beats. You got to find sounds that match each other well. This is not something you can learn overnight. You need to spend time really listening, using your ears, and making the right choices when it comes to sound selection. The best way to gauge if you're using the right sounds is putting your music out there, have your friends and family listen to it. Feedback is super important when you want to grow as a producer and get better at what you do. Let's find a clap that matches our current sound selection. That one's dope. Let's go ahead and add a pattern region to that. I'll make that 8 bars long. Once you're happy with your clap, let's move on to a hi-hat. So let's find a hi-hat that matches well. All right, let's create a pattern region for our hi-hat. Let's make that 32 steps. And we'll change that to an 8. Maybe we'll use some note repeat here. Next, let's add an 808. Maybe we'll add a little bit of a roll of the 808 at the end using a 16th note. Now, as the beat progresses, I definitely want to introduce a kick. Let's create a pattern region. Let's do this on 32 step. We'll go over to 8th note. copy over that same chord progression one more time. Let's come up with another glide section, you know, something that's maybe a little smoother. All right, so same thing as before. Let's go ahead and get into that glide. Go ahead and make it a little bit longer. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to start arranging this beat a little bit here. So let's go ahead and take this section now, put it over here. It also cut some of these chords out, you know what I mean, and leave some room for that glide to come in. You just copy it over like so. I think percussion wise we're almost there. Maybe we can add an open hat every now and then. Maybe we can automate the EQ on the intro, and we'll come over to the high cut frequency. We'll have it come in gradually. Let's have a listen to the final product. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this tutorial today. If you learned something new, make sure to hit that thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what type of tutorial you want to see next. I'm always ears when it comes to getting new ideas. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. This way you're notified anytime I drop something new. My name is CJ, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.